Welcome to Grapes and Debates, a podcast where we'll uncork some incredible wine and debate varietals of issues within the restaurant industry, one glass at a time. Complex, yet delicate to be sure. And now, your hosts and owners of SoNapa Grille, Adam Barringer, Chris Botting, and Joe Bates.
We are on location at our Jack's Beach store. Joe, business partner.
Welcome.
And we are with Ben and Ben from Trinchero.
That's right.
Ben Frick.
Ben Frick.
We've been doing business for a long time.
Long time, going back to, RNDC days, and then Maryvale after that, and then it's been, had my 11-year anniversary with Trinchero.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah.
You remember being out there? What race were we watching? Was it the Belmont?
Oh, my God.
It was one of the Triple Crown races, and we were with, at the time, the winemaker.
That's right.
Mario.
I think it was the second one.
Yeah.
So, not the Preakness, but, the one in between.
Exactly.
Anyway, God, those were fun trips.
Yeah.
So, we had 2 trips together out to California.
Was it 2 or 3? I thought it was 2 with Sean and 1 with you. Solo.
It might have been 3.
I think it
now
was.
that I think about it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's all a blur. There was so much wine involved.
I know.
But man.
Adam speaks very highly about those
times.
trips, though.
Yeah. Now,
so there was good times.
So Joe really hasn't been introduced to the whole portfolio.
Right.
So why don't you just
right.
kind of quick rundown of the portfolio? So
Absolutely. So
we should probably start
go.
with, we should probably have something to drink as we start talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. We should probably go back before we go forward. So
Okay.
Our company's been in business since 1948. We were founded by
Thanks, Ben.
Mario Trinchero.
Mario and Mary.
And I'm sorry.
Mario and Mary.
That's correct.
Yes.
So it sounds like you probably
I did a little.
could tell this story.
Not as well.
But so Mario and Mary and their children had a very good life in the Upper West Side of New York City. He was actually a kind of a head bartender at the
Waldorf Astoria.
Thank you, the Waldorf.
Okay.
And
In New York.
and was having had an apartment on the Upper West Side, had a great thing going. But his brother called from the West Coast, had gone over to the West Coast and done some recon, and in hopes of buying a farm and getting into the wine business in northern Napa Valley, and they came across a small winery known then as the Sutter Home Winery that was for sale. Long story short, fast forward, next thing you know, they basically uprooted their entire life, their entire family, took a train across country. Mario went first, and then Mary followed later with the children 2 or 3 weeks later. And they literally started out living in basically a glorified barn with a dirt floor. The story goes that Mary cried for the first 2 weeks that she was there. I mean, it was so rural back then, as you can imagine.
Right.
It even feels rural now, and there's 700 wineries in Napa Valley. Anyway, that's where it all started.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of milestones along the way. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, was that basically we discovered and created the white Zinfandel category through kind of a happy accident. It was a stuck fermentation of Zinfandel, which the Trincheros were known for producing a top quality red Zinfandel back in the day. In those days, you would just come up with your jug and literally pour it right out of a tank, but it was really good juice. Anyway, next thing you know, believe it or not, white Zinfandel was so hot, it was as allocated as Camus or Silver Oak is now. I mean, crazy. They were shipping pallets faster than you could imagine across country. Could not keep up with the demand. That's how big it was. This is in the late 70s.
I don't think I knew that was an accident.
Oh yeah.
A stuck fermentation. I knew that they did it because Zin was, in many ways, white Zin saved the Zinfandel grape. Right?
Yeah,
because it was not produced highly.
You could argue that. I mean, it was actually, back in those days, it was as produced as anything
Really?
else.
Okay.
If you think about it, it was
It's a California grape, though. You're not going to find red Zinfandel grape anywhere else. It's just a California grape.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has origins in Italy, so these,
okay. So maybe you find it there.
I mean,
But-
well,
we stretched the truth on this.
in the United States, you're right. Zinfandel, California is king. Zinfandel, you don't see a lot of Zinfandel in Washington State or Oregon or any other place like that. In any case, but yeah, back in those days, they made Sangiovese, Primitivo, a lot of Italian, red grapes are indigenous to Italy. Cabernet was getting, there was Cabernet there, certainly in the 60s and 70s, but not nearly the reputation and the stature that it has now. Anyway, so once the Sutter Home brand really took off with White Zinfandel and everything else, that just fueled the whole company. I mean, fast forward to today, we have, when everything is full blown, we have about 2,000 employees. That includes vineyard workers, everything, marketing, sales, the whole shoot and match. We're over 50 wine brands in national distribution. We have 5 spirit brands. We're upwards of 18 to 20 million case company, and
the second largest family-owned.
that's it. Yeah, behind the Gallo family.
So it would be Gallo, then Trinchero,
That's correct.
and then
for family-owned.
then Jackson family.
That's a good question. I don't
Yeah.
even know who's number 3. That would probably be Jackson or
Jackson,
maybe
and then-
Foley Family Wines.
I know
something in
Jackson's
that.
bigger than Foley.
Well, yeah, they
so-
would be just with KJ.
Right.
In any case. But we now have another kind of a division within our division, a heritage portfolio, where we have partnered with Italian brands from the Trinchero family, Sicilian. We have a Sicilian brand, Regaliali. We have 4 or 5 different Italian brands. We have 4 different Spanish brands. We have a New Zealand brand. So we have this whole European and international footprint, as well as our primary holdings in Napa Valley and around. We still own about 700 acres in Napa Valley. And of course, we do a lot of contract work. We buy a lot of fruit, we sell a lot of fruit, that sort of thing. But now we are a true, we can fill out an entire wine list or an entire store set
just from
with
your
all
own
the different
portfolio.
wines that we sell.
Well,
So anyway, that's
Okay.
kind of where we are. So today we're trying, getting started with this. You want to take over?
Sure.
And
Yeah. So Terra d'Oro, Land of Gold. This is one of the first wineries in California after Prohibition. Actually,
Okay.
Amador County. And this is estate fruit. Terra d'Oro is just one of those wines. It's a nice little niche in our book.
this is in your wheelhouse. This is a Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio is my
Okay.
everyday go-to.
really?
Have a
All
glass,
right.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Easy drinking, especially for those
Oh,
100
this
degree,
is an easy drinking.
It
100
is.
degree
Yeah.
This is nice.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ben said this was estate fruit. It's our estate in Clarksburg, so
Okay.
it's 100% estate fruit, but it's from Clarksburg.
Yeah.
100%
Awesome.
unoaked.
Yeah, Emily Haynes is the winemaker. They call her the mad scientist.
Okay.
Speaking of Zinfandel, she does love making Zinfandel. That's
Right.
one of the grapes that they make there. They also have a great Petit Syrah, Barbero, a nice Chenin Viognier. But the Pinot Grigio is something that sometimes, in a way, gets missed in our portfolio, I think, sometimes. But it's a beautiful Pinot Grigio with good acidity. As you like Pinot Grigio, I think sometimes you can see they lose the fruit in some Pinot Grigios. It's just kind of watered down wine, where this actually has some really good acidity to it. And nice lychee stone fruit.
Yeah,
No, it's-
great, great food wine.
That's awesome.
And what's the Terra d'Oro stamp mean again?
It means land of gold.
Land of Gold. Okay.
That's just one. It's also one of their labels. So Terra d'Oro, Zinfandel.
That's
as
what it's
well?
known for.
That's what it's known for. Yes.
Yeah, Zinfandel. We have one Zinfandel vineyard that was planted during the McKinley administration in the 1920s. So that's literally 100 years old.
Yeah.
So you hear a
How
lot
old
of
were you
people
then?
throw around that.
What year was that?
We hear a lot of folks throw around the old vine,
Right.
Yeah.
Zinfandel, which
Right.
isn't really something that's regulated or legislated.
Yeah.
It's just anybody. You can have
Sure.
a 10-year-old vine or a 50-year-old
That's old.
vine.
I mean, it's old to some
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And but yeah, our home vineyard Zinfandel is really 100-year-old vines, and very small production, as you can imagine. Those little gnarly stumps
Yeah.
only producing so much fruit. But
This one's only about 2,000 cases produced, but as Ben was saying, the winery, it's pretty small in production,
Sure.
no retail presence.
Okay.
So it's on-premise only.
Okay.
for the most
Nice.
part.
yeah, no chain retail.
I'm looking forward to the next wine.
Okay.
Yeah, so got a couple one to revisit, of course.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's why I brought it.
Was that the, was it 2018? This wine was in the
Top 100?
top 100. I think it was
Yeah.
52-ish, maybe? And it was on our menu for a long time.
It was.
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember now that you say that because it just now.
Right.
Yeah, this is going back probably 3 or 4 years now, but at that time, there was no restaurant or restaurant group in Florida that sold more Mason Sauvignon Blanc than SoNapa. It was literally crazy how successful this wine was. And at a time, frankly, where
There may
Sauvignon
have been some
Blanc...
personal consumption.
no, that's okay.
Involved
we're
in
not going to talk
in
about
those
that.
sales.
It doesn't matter.
But, now...
Bonnie.
Now, Sauvignon Blanc as a category is just doing really, really
Right.
well. In an overall environment where wine is kind of tough right now, Sauvignon Blanc is really excelling and growing in popularity. But at the time where it was
That's nice.
by the
It's
glass
still
here,
nice.
it was doing Sauvignon Blanc as a category was doing okay. This wine blew up.
Right.
Everybody loved it. So
Man, still drinking beautiful.
You said wine's down just a little bit though. Why do you think?
oh boy, it's a tough question.
Yeah.
It's everything from inflation, costs going up, but also it's the taste, the changing demographics and changing tastes
Sure.
of folks that are entering in the alcohol drinking category.
So it's our job to
So-
make wine more approachable.
It is.
Through
It is.
our podcast, and I have great news. We're up 1 subscriber this week.
Nice.
Yes. One at a
Thank
time.
you.
One glass at a time.
Thank
At a
you.
time.
We're going to slowly increase wine consumption across the country.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cheers.
to that.
Hey, this is nice.
Cheers to that.
All right, guys.
Is this all Napa fruit?
Yes,
is.
and a single vineyard, Mill vineyard. So it comes from one vineyard. Randy Mason is kind of almost the godfather of Napa Sauvignon Blanc with Mondavi. Those two are the big giants in
Wow,
Napa.
that's fantastic.
It is. Do you like it better than the PG that you just had?
I might have, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like those super tart, minerally Sauv Blancs, the New Zealand style. This one is
Same.
a little mellower. I mean, it's got that good acidity,
More approachable.
but yeah, it doesn't get me right back here and make my eyes water. And no, it's super balanced. I love it.
Get like
Awesome.
green
What can you call it? A
apple.
pool pounder?
Yeah.
Every white wine that's cold, you call
I
it
call
a
it a pool pounder.
No, but this is fantastic, and I would say you are correct. It's not as acidic. You're getting a little bit more fruit, but it's just
Not as herbaceous.
right, and it's very
say
well
the
balanced.
New Zealand style. Good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's
Awesome.
It's been very consistent, and he consistently gets 90 to 93 points year in, year out. As Ben said, this guy knows how to make
Sure.
Sauvignon Blanc and has been doing it at a high level for about 30 years now. So, in Napa Valley.
So
right.
2 Chardonnays.
Okay.
First one's going to be the Neyers
All right.
304, which is unoaked. So we'll taste that first.
Oh.
And then I brought back something that you both liked.
The
that we
Bravium?
tasted the Bravium
Yes.
from Russian
Yep.
River Chard. So I wanted to revisit that with you.
I haven't heard of this labeled Neyers.
Well, the winery was founded by Bruce and Barbara Neyers.
Okay.
They're very much just a juggernaut of a couple. Bruce.
And what isn't their
not-
property located in
Yeah.
East Napa as you're heading?
Yeah, exactly
Okay.
right. Kind of off Silverado Trail
Up that crazy mountain
back
range.
there. Yeah. But Bruce has done everything. I mean, he worked at Joseph Phelps for many years as a general manager there.
Wow. That's good.
And coming from you.
Is probably best known for running or being the general manager at Kermit Lynch for about 25 years. And Kermit Lynch was the largest importer of French wines in the United States. So, he would often say about his wines are California wines with a French personality.
Okay.
And I think what he means by that is that it's all about balance and harmony, making sure that the oak or absence of oak is integrated with the winemaking, and that nothing is out of whack, that everything works in concert. So when you take a glass or a sip of a glass of, whether it's Neyers Chardonnay, 304 Chardonnay, or any of the reds, that everything is as it's supposed to be, and nothing sticks out. It's like, wow, that's too oaky, or wow, that's too sweet, or wow, that's too...
Because typically I do enjoy a little bit of an oaky Chardonnay. Not too much oak, but I like the buttery, the mouthfeel. This, you still get the buttery mouthfeel, but it's the unoaked. So it really rivals those first two wines that we had as far as being a pool pounder.
Well, and the fruit is allowed to shine without that oak influence, right? It's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
So what you picked up on, he does do a little bit of mallow. It's 50%. So that's where you're going to pick up some of that
Creaminess.
butter,
That creaminess.
Yeah. And he wanted to make it more, like Ben was saying, European in style, so Chablis in style. So it's all about the attention of the fruit.
Well, thank God it's not too much Chablis inspired. I think it's a perfect balance.
But I
So he
mentioned
lets
his
it
wife...
go through some mallow and then stops the fermentation process, that secondary
Yeah,
fermentation.
50% of this vintage, it's
It's just
anywhere from
amazing
30
what
to
these
50%.
guys and girls can do and how they can manipulate the wine. And
That's right.
Yeah.
it is. They're scientists.
And he is a terrific winemaker that's been with him now 15 years, and they are literally joined at the hip.
Right.
His name is Tadeo Borchant, but Bruce is in his 70s now, but still oversees all of it. And his wife, Barbara, was an amazing person in her own right, an amazing chef. She was basically worked arm in arm with a gal named Alice Waters, who founded Chez Panisse in East Berkeley, which was basically, Alice Waters is generally known as the founder of the slow foods movement in California.
Okay.
And Barbara worked in that kitchen for many years. And so it's amazing how Barbara has these amazing recipes that go with all of these different wines, and they'll post them on their website pretty regularly.
All right, we
so
gotta
Bruce
go.
will talk about the wines.
We're going to that website.
Yeah, I'm going to
then
have to dig
Barbara-
into Neyers a little
Yeah,
bit.
just go. I'm sure it's
And I will tell you that
Neyers.com.
I think, did we have a cab that they made? Do they make a cab?
You've
Yes.
had Neyers Napa Cab.
And it was, you know where we had it? We had a Goose and Gander.
Oh,
when we
wow.
and it was fucking amazing.
I'm just amazed that you can even remember that, really.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you had more wine than I did. You have a really good memory.
I would
No.
nearly get it. I would almost guarantee that.
I just remember we were all
That's a
sitting
good
outside.
pull, Adam. That's a
and-
really good
And I
pull.
just remember Sean like, oh, we got Neyers on the menu.
Yes.
All right.
Neyers for all my
Let's
friends.
do it. Oh, it was fantastic.
That's actually
But this is
a
really
pretty
good.
neat Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring the two so you can see them side by side.
Sure.
Also, Ben put together a good price on this.
Okay.
It goes for this month.
It's
and
definitely
maybe another month. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
but-
normally it's around 17.
Yeah,
And it's
okay.
and we have a special program at
Nice.
15 for
Awesome.
July, just to promote it for the summer months, because we really think it's
Yeah.
a perfect wine, as all these are.
Sure.
Good choice, good curation of wines here for 100-degree weather with 90%
No doubt.
humidity.
All of those.
This is, yeah.
All right, so we're
Guys, I did bring a dump bucket if you want.
okay. I'm good.
Just kidding. I don't know where I put it.
It's okay. Not needed.
Yeah.
I brought this back because I remember you both liking this.
Okay.
And it wasn't the time you're ready to make changes, but I know we're coming up on that in September, so.
Well, it's interesting. I think we briefly touched on that. We've made some changes because we had some issues sourcing some wines, but we are definitely making a change, and we want to have the changes done by September 1st, and gives us about a month to get the
Okay.
printing done.
Sure.
The cost of doing business in the state of Florida is about to go up. Minimum wage for back of the house, well, for everybody, front of the house, back of the house, we don't even come close to paying people minimum wage in the kitchen. You have to pay way more than that. Sure. Yeah, we're competing with Buc-ee's and whatever.
Right.
And the gig economy. So we have to pay more in order to get good help in the kitchen. Front of house employees, on the other hand, it's going to go up about 16-17%. September 30th. It goes from $8.98
Yeah, to $9.98.
to $9.98. That's $1 increase for all front of house, all tipped employees.
They're making $10 an hour plus tips
Yeah. Correct.
as servers.
Remember the day?
But listen,
$2.13 an hour?
you know what?
Yeah,
That's
for years.
the voters in Florida. This is what they approved, and we just have to look for ways to help figure out how we can offset a 16% increase. But in saying that, we have to re-engineer the menu. We may have to make some changes, additions, deletions. Perfect timing.
Right.
Perfect timing for
Gotcha.
Trinchero.
Nice.
Yeah, well, usually, it's funny, or not funny, but wine and spirits have always been profit centers for restaurants and will continue to be so.
Sure.
But to your point, it's never been more important to take advantage of every opportunity, every deal that comes down the pipe if it's a quality product, because, the margins are, it must be so razor thin now going forward.
Absolutely, they are.
What they're saying nationally, this is nationally, according to National Restaurant Association, 4%. That's the amount of money your typical restaurant is making, 4%. But to piggyback on that, 38% of all restaurants in the United States are breaking even or losing money.
38%.
38, staggering.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I just read it recently in the Jacksonville News Journal. Of course, there's a few bright spots, a few things that have opened, but there have been a lot of places that have closed. I'm from Tallahassee and was just looking at the Tallahassee paper, and they had a dozen restaurants closed last week. A couple of good ones just opened.
Okay.
And some of that's the natural flow of our business, but still, no, that's never, you've got to be a sharp operator in this climate, or it's going to be trouble, as you
open
guys
up
know.
any of the national restaurant magazines or publications, and you're going to see somebody declaring bankruptcy or restructuring or, going through some troubling times. Every single publication.
Right.
So it's challenging and scary, and also keeps you on your toes. Right.
Well, and what's interesting to me is that you guys have this reputation for putting out top quality food, having a top quality service experience, and that's going to cost. I mean, and it should cost. What is amazing to me now is that the level of service and food quality at so many places has really gone down, and yet they're up 20%. I mean, I went to a place the other night that, I'd give anything to have just had dinner at home that night.
Wow.
And it was damn near $100 for my son and my wife and I.
Yeah.
Right.
And this was no great shakes.
Right.
Not like a fancy.
Right.
So that's what I mean. I think, and I just wonder how the effect that's going to have on people too.
I think we're going to see a lot more craziness go on because of the election, because of the increase, and we'll just take Florida for example, because of the uncertainty with the election, because of inflation, and then you're going to add the increase in labor. We're going to see some crazy stuff the last quarter.
Are you still finding that out here, though, there's a good pool of people to pull from, but you just have to pay them top dollar, or is there a shortage of good quality people?
You want to know something? I
back of the
feel
house?
that we have certainly had our issues finding great people, like every other restaurant company. I think we made that turn. We are fully staffed in New Smyrna right now. We're fully staffed in Ormond, and we are fully staffed right here. So a lot of that also goes to the culture and the environment that people work in. And as you guys know, with social media, we're trying to show what it's like to work here and the advancements for opportunity. So anyway, we're pretty fortunate. About as fortunate as to have Bravium and Neyers as Chardonnays to compare to each other. I gotta say, I felt that Neyers maybe was drinking a little bit nicer. I mean,
it's a big difference going from one to the other. That's the only thing, tasting them side by side. So you're like, you're going from, no oak to
correct.
oak. That right there in itself.
This says Chardonnay to me. I would have had trouble if you blind tasted me on the first one, because I would have probably leaned towards that Pinot Grigio-ish style because of the lack of kind of mouthfeel and buttery oak. So this one, at least to me, says, "Hey, I'm a Chardonnay." When you get down to the bottom of the glass. So I like them both.
I'm going to revisit
for what they are. Would you? We revisit.
I almost think it's best because this is one of my favorite wines in our portfolio. We're actually up 50% with Bravium. It's a small winery.
Okay.
Derek Rolf's the winemaker. Super cool. He's around our age. Just a really cool California guy. Started with Chardonnay. This particular vintage is 100% now estate Plumas Vineyard, single vineyard Plumas Vineyard, which he's pretty proud of.
Right.
And Russian River Valley.
Russian River.
Known for great Pinots
and Chardonnay.
And great Chardonnays.
Which he makes some great Pinots too. But this Chardonnay is, where we do place it, it does so well by the glass, and we've got a nice 3 6-pack price at $12.50 that's been put together for us.
Awesome.
So,
Loose translation, the word Bravium means the gift, and it implies the gift that the soil provides, which is the grapes, of course.
Okay.
And the high quality of grapes is the gift.
That's awesome.
The Bravium. So And it's kind of cool. Derek, his grandmother, he's Native American, and his grandmother, I want to say he's Cherokee. Or part Cherokee.
Yep. Okay.
And when he was born, his grandmother, his Cherokee name was Winterhawk, and as a tribute to her, he put a feather of a winterhawk on the label there. So that's the symbolism of that feather there. But I love that he honors his family, his heritage, and but as Ben said, this
is
guy
actually starting to open up in the glass a little bit.
Oh my goodness, we're going to reds now?
We got three
Oh
reds.
wow, let's do it. And there's a couple on here that I don't think I've had.
You got some ice cubes to throw in?
I take that back.
So we're going to start with Iron and Sand.
Okay.
If anybody wants.
I think as you guys know that Paso it's hot, it's trendy,
It is.
it's very popular.
Yes.
And you're seeing so much growth on just from Paso in general as an
I don't need
ABA,
to
but also on
I'm
restaurants.
going to stick
Okay.
right here.
And I know
we
you're
do-
SoNapa, but the so could be Paso.
Oh, I like that.
You know
what?
So.
I like it.
Yeah.
We
Leave
actually
it up to
did
Ben to find something.
No, listen, we specialize in wines from Sonoma County, Napa Valley. All wines come from California because you can't really have just a Napa or Sonoma
Right.
as an entry level. We could, but it would be expensive. But we get wines from Monterey, Central Coast, and we've done quite a bit from Paso.
Yeah, I thought so.
We
I
have
remember seeing something.
supported Dow.
Yes.
Which they do a great job, but there's some fantastic wines coming to Paso right now.
Oh my gosh, Austin Hope.
Yeah.
Big one, Justin. I mean, when I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
the business, we started with Jay Lohr. Jay Lohr really
Great,
sort of
okay.
set the benchmark for quality, especially that Seven Oaks Cabernet for $15-16. Can't beat it, even at Publix, still one of the better values. But so we've jumped into the Paso
Wow.
game with this one SKU brand. So there's only one item in this winery, calling it Iron and Sand, kind of a nod to the Iron Springs and the Sandy Springs that are tourist attractions in that area, in that
Are they
Paso
really?
area. Oh,
Tourists? Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's, next time you go.
Yeah.
If you weren't so busy drinking wine, you would,
I doubt I
go to the
would make it to one of
wineries,
those.
you might
yeah.
go to the springs. But I know, I've never been to the springs either.
Oh, wow.
I just go to
Okay.
wineries. But anyway, that's, and it's about 85% Cabernet. There's a few points of Merlot. I want to say some Petit Verdot.
That's nice.
I'm going to sort of take over
do
on
you
the
think?
production
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's light, fruity. It's got some balanced tannins, but doesn't slap you in the face.
No, it's nice, easy drinking. You don't need to.
It is.
You don't need to pair it with any food, in my opinion. It would be nice.
Yeah.
What would you pair it with?
Something
On our
probably
menu.
a little lighter. Maybe even the pork chop, which is
Sure.
a little weird, right? But that mustard glaze that we put on it, just kind of.
think that's a great
I think
pairing.
I think that kind of balances this with the fruit up front.
That.
A little bit of spice.
Sonoma Farms chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
short ribs. I don't know if you do a short
Oh, yeah,
ribs,
yeah.
but
We do.
This would go great with short
Yeah,
ribs.
that's actually that's a pretty good pairing.
Right.
Yeah.
Medium weight, good fruit.
No, yeah.
The great thing about Paso,
Yeah.
or most Paso
And it's
anyway, is that you don't
price
have to
point
age
is
it,
approachable.
lay it down, it's
Boom.
ready to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
What's
gotta-
the next Paso? Like, what's the next
Good question.
hot
You want to know? I think it's.
Suisun?
I think so.
Yeah.
What is it?
Sassoon Valley.
Suisun or Suisun?
Okay.
Well,
But-
it's Sassoon, S-U-I. It's if you go over the mountains going east from Napa, you come down into Sassoon Valley. I believe Camus invested. They own over 600 acres there. They just built a state-of-the-art facility.
Wow.
Yeah, it's basically where Napa was 50
Interesting.
years ago. Yeah, you guys gotta just Google it and check it
yeah.
out. But there's just a few other small producers, but it will likely blow up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Keep
I
an
just
eye
learned
out.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like-
This is pretty cool. I don't know if we've tasted this, but I don't know.
We haven't.
Okay, so it's good that
Quatro
we are.
Theory.
because
I'm
this is
very
This is our estate wine now, as Quatro Theory from Lane and Donnelly.
You want to know
winemaker at
something?
Trinchero.
I remember the name change. So gone away from
Mario's.
Mario's. Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
so
yeah.
basically, yes.
I had this when I was out there. By the way, thank you.
Look at the color. Just
We went.
different from the-
We went to the winery again.
That is deep.
this.
Deep red.
I told them not to treat you bad.
No,
so,
they treated us incredible. There was a 25-year-old kid, I wish I could remember his name, from Florida State, went out there for an intern, and then ended up back there, and now he's in charge of trade.
Yes.
And this kid did Brandon?
Franklin, maybe?
No, I don't know. Anyway,
I had a little back and forth with him, but
did a great job.
That's great to hear.
The lunch was the best food we had for a tasting.
Nice. That's so cool.
In Napa.
I mean, all during COVID, I mean, even though we were shut down, we still kept our culinary staff intact, and still, we've scaled back our overall hospitality. We're kind of repurposing our Sutter Home Victorian Inn that used to be a bed and breakfast and that sort of thing. But our culinary staff is always there, and we're always going to do lunches and dinners for the trade when you come out to visit.
Here's just kind of where the fruit's from to show you, because we've got actually basically everywhere from where the Mario's cab was, but now we've got a little Atlas Peak up in the mountain fruit.
Okay.
So what Lionel wants to do with this is to do a Bordeaux blend, obviously primarily Cabernet, but he does add all the Bordeaux grapes in there. So you've got Cab Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and it's just a beautiful Cabernet. It's our state fruit, all state, primarily from the Mario's vineyard, the Central West Park Vineyard.
And it's 100% French oak, and probably half of that is new oak, which is, fine grain, top drawer, the most expensive oak you can buy. So this wine, as you can imagine,
so this
Napa
wine,
Valley,
this is fantastic, Napa Valley, and it doesn't have that, where you cannot say fruit is riding in the driver's seat. This is good.
Yes,
it's good.
This is Trinchero. So even if you were to put this on the list, Quatro Theory by Trinchero, I would definitely put that in there, because that is when you go to Trinchero, this is what they're showcasing.
It's our best Napa Valley Cabernet.
Okay.
Right.
Now, that's it. So.
And it's so balanced. I mean, it's drinking great right now.
I
can't imagine seeing this in a decade. And
this
how
is a
it's
21
drinking.
vintage.
But,
I'll never see that. In a decade.
Nothing never sits in your wine cooler for.
Yeah, we released this wine last July or August, so it's been in release for about a year now. It's done really well. It's by the glass currently at a restaurant chain called Charlie's Steakhouse, Orlando and Tampa.
Yep.
And it's their #1 selling Cabernet by the glass by far. Not even close.
They're selling it by the glass.
By the glass, yeah.
Trinchero's premier bottling.
It is.
This is nice.
Okay.
6 packs.
And was there a name change? Did I?
Well, we used to have our kind of halo brand was Trinchero Napa Valley.
Okay.
And we had several Cabernets. We had 3 reds and a Sauvignon Blanc under the Trinchero name, and they decided to go a different direction. We still make a very small amount of Trinchero Napa Valley wines, but it's for direct-to-consumer only, or in our tasting room. And this is now our only sort of exclusive high-end luxury Cabernet producer is this new Quatro Theory. So we have Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet, and we're just now releasing a Merlot under the Quatro Theory label.
Oh, wow.
This fall. So, yeah, that's it. So it's just a new concept, new winemaker, and I love it. I love it. It's gotten a lot of...
so you crescendo. It's like we're going up. Now we're going to... We're doing a Pinot Noir next?
Yes, and there's a reason for it.
Okay, I knew there had to be. I mean, you guys know what you're doing. I'm thinking to myself, is this really happening? Am I getting punked right now?
No.
Because...
Ben, that's going to be hard to beat, though.
And
Quatro Theory.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not even so much that the Pinot's trying to beat the Quatro Theory. It's there's a science behind why Pinot after Cab.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, really? I've never heard this.
Yeah.
The conventional wisdom is Pinot before Cab.
Yep. And so this is something I've learned from Julie Pepe, who you may have met before, Julie Pepe, but also she's learned from Bruce Neyers, and a scientist that did some research behind why drinking Pinot after Cabernet. And we've done this at wine dinners, we've done this at tastings, and there is a big difference in the reason for it.
Okay.
This is big time.
Yeah. We're
A
exploring
Pinot
new
after
ground.
a Pinot after cab.
I can't wait
I
to
know.
hear the science behind it.
Well,
Right.
and there is science behind it, and I'm not very good at describing it. You're probably better at it than I am, but
I'm not going to be great at it. I'm going to probably butcher it up, but I'm going to give you my best.
Yeah, please
my
do.
best pitch
And I'll
on it.
Welcome
try
to
and
Grapes
back-
and Debates.
Welcome.
I'll back you up.
And I do have
right
an
in.
article on it that I can email you just to verify, to show you what we're talking about afterwards. But don't have it to really pull up to talk about.
So we
But
got-
basically.
Joel Gott.
So we brought Joel
Yes.
Gott because this
Yeah.
is one of our brands,
you
one
can
of
keep
our biggest
going.
brands. Ben knows kind of more of the history of Joel Gott and the boxes, and I mean it's our number one brand.
Yeah, he's a
basically.
third generation winemaker. His dad, Kerry Gott, has been in the valley forever. I mean, Joel literally grew up on a tractor in Amador County, not far from where the Teodoro winery is now.
Okay.
His dad worked on that property for a while. But fast forward, now Joel is was an entrepreneur, a restaurateur, an amazing wine man. He started in the I guess this would be, when was his first? It started with a little bit of Zinfandel, I want to say, in the 1980, and got like 91 or 93 point rating from Wine Spectator, and then next thing you know, he was off to the races. He has since married his high school sweetheart, and her name is Sarah, who was, by the way, I mentioned earlier that Bruce Neyers worked at Joseph Phelps. Well, so did Sarah Gott. Sarah Gott was the chief winemaker at Joseph Phelps for
Even during
I don't know.
'97, which one of those
7-8 years.
18 years.
Wow.
And so now, not really a secret, and it shouldn't be, she is the winemaking force behind the Joel Gott label.
Wow.
And so he basically handles vineyard contracts, he handles, a lot of the shaking hands and kissing babies, all the advertising, does all this restaurant work. I mean, he is constantly on the move. But Sarah and her winemaking team are really the ones behind the scenes making these amazing wines.
Typical story.
And
Behind every great man is a greater woman.
That's right. And she's awesome.
Sabina.
That's awesome. And she has a winemaking team of 3 or 4, also
Okay.
all-female winemaking team, and they're just superb. And so the wines way over-deliver for quality, for value. So
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to Grapes and Debates, presented by SoNapa Grille. For more information, visit us today at sonapa.com.